Okay, this is our definitions video for section 6, problems with Darwinian evolution. What I first want to talk about is an assumption. What is an assumption? An assumption is something that people accept as true or certain without proof. Okay, so if it's a philosophical assumption, that means that is an assumption of philosophy, which is the study of knowledge, reality, etc. All right, I'm going to use my laptop for some of these definitions just to get the wording right. What is a fossil? We're going to talk about fossils. A fossil is the naturally preserved remains or traces of animals or plants that lived in the geologic past. Okay, so basically plants or animals that have died, and now we found, their bones or their remains. Those are fossils. The fossil record, what is that talking about? Now, the fossil record refers to the placement of fossils throughout the surface layers of the earth. So when animals and plants die, they're placed throughout the earth. Okay, so the fossil record is the analysis of all of those fossils. Older fossils are buried more deeper than younger ones generally. And scientists use the placement of fossils as a guide for determining when life forms existed and how they evolved. Okay, pretty simple. If they're buried deeper, if the fossil is buried deeper, then generally it's going to be older. Okay, now Darwinian evolution has something called gradualism, which says that, we all gradually came from a common ancestor. We all evolved gradually from our common ancestors. Now, according to gradualism, we should see many transitional fossils, but in fact we don't. Now, a transitional fossil is any fossil which gives us information about a transition from one species to another. So, people say that humans came from, have a common ancestor with the chimpanzees. Okay, so we should see a transitional fossil between that earlier life form and what we have now. Well, in fact, we don't see those. Okay, also a missing link. What is a missing link? The missing link is a term often thrown around by the media to describe fossils that are believed to bridge the evolutionary split between higher primates such as monkeys, apes, and humans. So, what is the missing link between humans and chimpanzees? That's the missing link. That's the transitional fossil that we should be able to find. But in fact, when we look at our fossil record, in detriment to Darwinian evolution, we don't find that. Okay, and what is materialism and determinism? Now, materialism is the belief that only things that we can see and touch, materials, are real, and that there is nothing outside of that. Okay, materialism is the doctrine that nothing exists except matter and its movements and modifications. Now, determinism is the doctrine that all events, including human action, are ultimately determined by causes external to the will. Now, some philosophers have taken determinism to imply that individual human beings have no free will and cannot be held morally responsible for their actions. So if I slap you across the face, hey, it wasn't my fault. My DNA made me do it. That's determinism, that our actions are determined and we don't really have free will. So that is our definitions video for Darwinian evolution. Hopefully that brings you up to speed with all the definitions that you're going to need to know for these future videos. So join us. Section 6, Darwinian evolution. Come on.